What's up, guys? Knight's Edge here again. Got another little really interesting knife review for you here today. Before I get into it, this is the channel information. Like the video if you like it. Really appreciate it. It means a lot. Subscribe to the channel. That helps out even more. All my information is down below. Instagram, TikTok, email. Best way to contact me is probably Instagram DM or email. And all that's linked down below in the description. Really helps the channel out a lot if you subscribe, like the video, comment, whatever. I appreciate it, you guys. It means a lot. I'm really shocked by how much the channel's grown in the last 3 or 4 months. I've been kind of doing this. You know, it's been a wild ride. And this is actually lent to me, unfortunately. I'm not going to get to keep it, by Mr. Eddie _ 411. Go follow him on Instagram, guys. He's a really great guy, and kind of, you know, me and him have been talking back and forth for a couple weeks now over knife stuff, and he's been gracious enough to loan me a bunch of his really awesome knives. He's got a lot of good stuff on Instagram. MREDDY _ 411 is his Instagram, so y'all go check him out. So this is one of the ones he let me borrow. And this is the PMP Titano. This thing is, ridiculous. Oh man, I've seen Metal Complex's video on this, Javon's. I've seen a bunch of other YouTubers kind of look at this thing, and I always wanted to handle. I didn't think I'd ever get the chance, you know, because this is pretty pricey, but this is a super nice knife, y'all. Kind of get a close up over there. The blade's M390. Got a flamed anno on the handle, titanium handle. Really nice precision machine work on it. Great knife. Spoiler alert there. But anyway, this, I believe, according to what I'm looking at right now, on the White Mountain Knives website, it's available there. It's available at DLT, NC Blades, a couple other places. So it's not like out of stock in a lot of places like a bunch of other stuff is with PMP. But from what I'm looking at here, MaxAce is actually the manufacturer of it. But PMP is the company that makes it. So anyway, I'll go ahead and, before I kind of start gushing over this, because I love this thing, but before I, you know, get sidetracked here, I'll go ahead and do specs, size comparisons, all that first. So with the tape measure coming in from the tip of the blade all the way to the butt of the handle, you're looking right at 9 and a little over 9 1/8, almost 9 1/4. If you go from this tip here, of this, I guess you call that a Titano, all the way to the butt of the handle. Blade length, right at, if you go from the tip all the way to back here, you're looking at 4 3/4 actually. But if you go to right here on that spot, kind of the soonest where the blade meets the handle, you're looking right at 4 inches. And cutting edge, you're looking at right at 4 inches on the cutting edge. Actually, if you measure them separate, I think it's probably more than that, because if you put the tape that way and measure that little edge right there, you're looking at 1 5/8. And then if you measure that right there, you're looking at 3 inches. So that's 4 5/8 actually, you know, total cutting edge on this thing, which is insane. You know, partially due to the super broad blade. And I'll go ahead and put a measurement on that too while I'm looking at it. I'll measure it this way. Try not to get the tape measure on it too much. I don't want to scuff it or anything like that. All right, so you're looking at 2 and just over 2 1/8 broadness of the blade, which is insane. That's one of the, you know, main draws of this knife, I would say, is how broad that blade is. Blade stock thickness, thickest part of the spine right at 1/4 inch, a little under 1/4 inch there. And thinnest part, where the edge begins, not the apex of the edge, but where the edge begins, you're looking at 31.5 thousandths right there. Go all the way up here on this other, I guess you could call it a second edge, really, right? Got 2 different edges. 37 thousandths, right at 37 thousandths. So not what you call by any means a super slicey knife, right? Look at the handle thickness. Let's go to all the way the thickest part right there. You're looking at 0.67 of an inch, which actually is really comfortable for the size of knife that you got going on right here, right? This is a monstrous big knife, so you know, if you had like a little small teeny tiny handle, it would not really make that much sense, right? But anyway, that's the measurements. All right, paramilitary 2, Spyderco paramilitary 2 dwarfs the paramilitary 2, and definitely dwarfs the Spyderco para 3. And your Ontario Rat Model 1, way bigger than that. Definitely way bigger than your Rat Model 2 right there. Bigger than your Demco Knives 80-20.5 by a lot. And even bigger than your Cold Steel 80-10. Not too much bigger as far as length goes. I'd say maybe a 1/2 inch it's got it on length. But as far as broadness of that blade, yeah, like a lot bigger. And a lot bulkier, which you can't say that for a lot of stuff because 80-10 is a pretty hefty little knife. That's a Spyderco Shaman up against it. And just for laughs, Civivi Baby Banter. So that's what you're looking at with this thing. It's crazy. Big old knife. I guess if you're in a dark alleyway, practicality kind of goes out the window with this thing, right? But you know, if you're in a dark alleyway and the Dark Lord from Lord of the Rings is reaching out to grab you, this will be a perfectly suitable blade to remove the ring in his hand from his arm. So that's the best practical use I can think of for this. And also, you know, of course, opening Doritos bags. So let's get the scale out. Weigh this monstrosity here. My guess is it's pretty hefty. I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's quite a pound. I don't know. It kind of feels like about 10.5 ounces or so. 10 ounces. Man, I was way closer than I thought it was. 11.3 ounces on the weight. Weigh it again just to make sure. 11.3. So by comparison, Spyderco Shaman, which a lot of people consider too big and heavy for everyday carry, 5.1 ounces. And your Cold Steel 80-10, which a lot of people consider way too bulky for everyday carry, sitting at 7.1. So definitely a comically, I would say so, large knife. Not practical at all for everyday carry. Getting out the old blue jeans here. See what it looks like in the pocket. So if you go all the way up, not really a deep carry, but you don't have too much sticking out, especially for such a large knife. Now this is a full-size blue jean pocket, and that's what you got sticking out there, if that tells you anything, right? Somebody's definitely going to know you got something in your pocket, and you are happy to see them with this thing. So go ahead and take a look at the hardware. Torx bits. I don't know who would take this thing apart, but you know, it is good to know these things, I guess. But These are all flatheads. Flathead, 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 right on that. Pocket clip, screw, flathead. Those are flathead. Good little bit of hardware actually looking at this thing. Flathead on the pivot. And this is your kind of your set screw on your frame lock. That's a Torx, so I can check that. This is a T8. T8's too big. T6. It's a T6 Torx bit right there. So that's your kind of like your set screw for your lock bar. You know, you can actually turn this and lock the knife into place, I believe. And there's also, you know, the frame lock itself, right, that helps keep it secure, which the frame lock locks up pretty good from what I've seen. I haven't tested this thing out hard any at all. I did a mini cut test last week on a short, but that's pretty much all the, you know, the hard use or testing I'm going to do with this thing, especially since it's not mine. You know, it belongs to Mr. Eddie, and I don't want to mess it up. The blade is M390, and it is a big old chunk of M390. You could call this a Tonto blade shape, maybe a compound grind, I guess you could call it, because that's a flat that kind of tapers down there, and it tapers down here, and it tapers down up there. So the jimping on it, which is right here, that kind of cut out of the top, place for your thumb right there. That is actually surprisingly comfortable. In hand, this thing is not bad at all, y'all, in hand. It's really comfortable. It feels nice in hand, you know. It just feels like you're holding a miniature cut-off sword. The handles are titanium. This is flame anode, but they do a couple other different ones. It's got a back spacer, kind of help keep lint and stuff out of it. And funny enough, it's got a lanyard hole, right? So you can put a lanyard on it also, right? If you're into that. And I already said it's a frame lock, titanium milled clip. Just in my opinion, a beautiful knife, this thing. It's kind of like a showpiece, I guess, you know, a piece of art. Action on this thing's great. Like it slaps I'm not even gonna flick it out hard at all, but that's the sound you're hearing whenever you flip it out. You can middle finger flip it. Obviously, you know that works pretty good, surprisingly well for such a large blade. Closing sounds like that. It's got a flipper tab right there. That works pretty good too, but I would say if you're used to middle finger flipping a knife open, that's what you're going to be going for when you open this thing, because that middle finger flip is sweet, and it just sounds awesome when you open this thing. Even closing, you know, it's got that loud, that kind of funk. You know, you can kind of feel it. You can hear the bass in the blade when it closes against the handle. I don't know how else to describe it, but whenever you when you open it, you can definitely, you know, it's definitely recognizable. Just listen. Like that's crazy. Super large, super impractical. I absolutely love it. You know, can you get the same utility out of you know, $30 Rat 2? You can get more utility. This is actually way more useful than this is, 100%, without a doubt. Other than the fact this is D2 and that's M390, you know, materials wise, this thing's got like a cheapo knife beat, you know, but you can get like the Max Ace Black Mirror for 150 bucks. M390 in titanium. I think actually S9V now in titanium. You know, you can get a more practical knife that works better for cheaper and is lighter and better all the way around. This thing is just a showpiece and is an absolute, you know, absolutely beautiful knife, I think. The little PMP logo kind of right there, Titano it says right there, M390 down here in small print. Other side's completely bare, you know, I wouldn't call any of that like billboarding, you know, it's pretty plain blade, which I absolutely love. So, Get a close up of the handle here real quick. Flamed anode titanium on the handle. M390 on the blade. Super thick, super beefy. Just, I would absolutely love to own this thing one day. Mr. Eddie's not going to turn loose of it. I got to send it back to him. But I really appreciate him letting me borrow this monstrosity, beautiful knife. So I think that's about it, guys. Anyway, PMP Titano, y'all go check it out. You can, I'm gonna link it down below in some form or fashion, but it's on, you know, I've seen it on DLT Trade and NC Blades, White Mountain Knives. I'll have one of, you know, the available sites linked down below. I'm not affiliated. I don't get anything if you buy something, you know, with a link that's in my description on any of my videos. It's kind of something I just do to help people out if they want to check something out for themselves. So this is the PMP Titano. Appreciate you guys watching. And again, before I get off of here, here is Mr. Eddie _411. Go check him out on Instagram. Great dude. Got a lot of great knives. Take some really cool pictures. Go give him a follow on there. And this is a Knight's Edge. And until next time, hope you guys have a good evening, morning, night, whatever, whenever you're watching this. And I'll see you on the next one.